Hey, we're back. Ronn James, Real Estate's Most Wanted. We're here again with Darren St.Jacques from Nook and Cranny Home Inspection. We're going to talk a little bit about the electrical in a house, and Darren's going to take us through kind of what we need to know from a buyer and a seller point of view. From a seller's point of view, what can they do to get ready to have you look at the electrical in their house?
Well, they can have an electrician come in and have the panel removed for me.
Which they've done. Obviously.
Which they've done in this case, and allowed us to look inside. What I'm looking for when I'm in the panel is to make sure that all the wires are matched up properly to each breaker. In this case, we're dealing with breakers. And that there's no what we refer to as double taps. And double taps mean two wires that will feed into one breaker. It'll overload the breaker and cause possible fire situations or just even nuisance tripping. The other thing I look for is the condition of the wiring to make sure there's no pinch or cuts or nicks in the wiring, which again can lead to overheating, and signs of overheating, which is the melting sheathing, the insulation that wraps each wire here, and as well as the breakers themselves. Very often you can just touch them and feel if there's any temperature differences, to say one's getting hot for some reason, maybe too much draw on it. And the actual electrics itself, the bus bar in the back here, to make sure there's no scorching or burning, and the condition of the cabinet. No rust, is everything in nice and tight, is it all sealed up? No pets can go in, i.e. little mice that might be running around. If they get inside, they too of course could become electrocuted, but could lead to a fire hazard.
Now, is this, or do you know whether this is aluminum or copper wiring?
Well, this is copper wiring. All the wiring that's being taken out of this is copper wiring, and the copper wiring would come into the house. Again, typically the age of the home would dictate to me that this is copper.
So, aluminum bad, copper good?
Well, there's pros and cons in both, quite frankly. The only issue with the copper wiring with aluminum wiring with copper connections is they both heat up and cool down at different temperatures. And whereas the brass screws, if you like, when they heat up, they will cool down slower than the aluminum will, and the aluminum can become loose. So the only maintenance that's really necessary with that is just to have it periodically checked and tightened by a qualified electrician.
I thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Ronn James, Real Estate's Most Wanted, with Darren St.Jacques from Nook and Cranny Home Inspection on the electrical panel in your house.